one way to move, to propel that movement, is in the place of prayer. And so we're going to pray for the family at this time. We're going to pray to God to strengthen, encourage, comfort, and give them unusual peace, the kind of peace that passes understanding. And to lead us in this prayer, I'd like to invite to the stage the presiding bishop, Living Faith Church Worldwide, Winners Chapel, Bishop David Oyedepo. A round of applause, please. As he comes forward, may we please ask the family members to step forward as well.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Every challenge of life requires a constant. Every problem in life requires a constant for solution. Let God be true is our constant. Ever reliable, ever sure, He knows what He's doing. He said, what I do now, thou knowest not, but thou shalt know hereafter. Thou shalt know hereafter. No going back. It shall be forward ever. For the entire family, it shall be forward ever. For the Redeemed Christian Church of God, it shall be forward ever. For the body of Christ, it shall be forward ever. Please help me stretch forth your hands, everyone, in the direction of the immediate family members here, and let's ask God's hand to rest upon the entire family, the wife, the three children, the siblings and their families. Please stretch forth your hand and pray. Ask the Lord, let your good hand remain upon every member of this family till the end of time, till the end of time, till the end of time. Ask the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, to sweep in right now into the heart and soul of everyone, including our parents in the Lord. Ask the Lord to strengthen them. Ask the Lord to cover them with His wings and be the wall of fire around everyone. Let's do that from the depth of our heart. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' precious name we have prayed. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you because of the assurance we have that you are ever in charge. We thank you for the word we had this morning, and we thank you because the Church of God is moving forward. Now I ask now, like we have all joined to pray, let your good hand rest upon every single member of this family. Amen. Lord, build a wall of fire around this family. Amen. Lord, keep this family on the move till the end of time. Amen. Let there be no looking back from anyone in the name of Jesus. Amen. Holy Spirit, the Comforter, now take over from this moment. Sweep over the spirit, the mind, and the soul of every one member of this family in the name of Jesus Christ. Lord, we can count on you all the time. You are ever reliable, ever dependable, always there. Let your presence remain dominant in this family. Let your presence remain dominant in this family. Thank you for the comfort hitherto, and thank you for the comfort that we go through life. And in the name of Jesus, let this time that we are in be turned to an open testimony in no time. Thank you, Father, and blessed be your name. This family is kept. This family is preserved. The young children are kept. The wife is kept. And so it will be good news all the way. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Take all the glory. In Jesus' precious name. Amen. Praise the Lord. Let's give the Lord a big hand.